Okay, lab number 9. Went back to a regular single element transducer, took the lucite delay off, parked it right over there. You can see it. Alright. So here's our regular transducer again. We're going to go to lab number 9 where it says calibrate our unit to a 5-inch screen. So we're on range. Alright, 5-inch range. We're going to mess with steel. So I'm going to go back to 230. Okay, I'm going to bring my delay back to 0. Go to my pulsar, dual's off, go to my receiver. I have a 2 1/4 megahertz, so I'm trying to clean that up as best as possible. About as close as we're going to get, it looks like. Ooh, that's not pretty. So let's bring the gain down. We got a bunch of nastiness there. Alright, but that'll work for us. We want to calibrate to that 5-inch range, knowing that we have a piece of steel here. So we go to a 5-inch range, looks like we're pretty close, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100%. But we could make it a little bit better. So let's stretch it out just a little bit. Then take our delay, push that over just a little bit. 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100. That looks pretty close to me. Now what we want to know is, what is the thickness of this piece right here? Put our transducer down on there. First signal's coming up at about 24, 25%. Last signal's coming up right at 100. So that's going to tell us something. We just need to know what that thickness is. So using lab number 9 here, calibrated for a 5-inch range, put the transducer on the part. The left edge of the first clear back reflection will be the thickness to subtract from the last echo on the screen. Okay, so it looks like our first thickness here is about 1.25 or 25% of 5 inches. Okay, so the left edge of the last back echo is then red. That's 5 inches. Okay, now the number of valleys between the first and last is divided into this number. So if we had 1.25 and 5, if we zoom in here so you can see it, 1.25 and 5, that would be 1, 2, 3 valleys. So 5 minus 1.25 is 3.75. Divide that by 3 valleys, that gives us 1.25 again. But that's not always the perfect case. So we come over here to something that's a little bit different. Like this guy right here. And we have just a bunch of stuff. Okay? And if you notice, we lose our sound way before it ever is usable anymore. So let's not use this guy, because we could just read it. It's a 1/2 inch thick. You see it's coming right up at 10%. Let's go with something a little different. Maybe something like this guy right here. But we're going to change our screen range down to 2 inches. Do this the same no matter what. Okay, we started at a 5, figured out our first piece was 1.25 inches. So now we went to a 2-inch range, and our first signal's coming up about 19%, and our last signal's coming up at about 80, 92%. So if we give it some more gain, coming up right about 19%, coming up over here about 92%. So 19% of 2 inches, and then 92% of 2 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4 valleys in between. So you're going to take whatever the answer from 92% is, subtract the answer from 19%, divide that by 4 valleys, and that should give you the thickness of this piece. Give you a second to look at that. And that should be pretty simple.